Hi. Timeline, March 31st. I don't have a lot of time because I'm waiting for someone to come pick me up. But the video that I posted today was on my Bumble update. So it's just funny because, I mean, by the time you watch this video, you've already known that I had to take like a little break and just kind of, be on my own. I mean, I'm still on my own, but I'm finding myself busier. Like there's just a lot going on. People are inviting me here, people are inviting me there. I have a lot of side projects that I'm really excited about. And I'm not gonna share them yet, but once I get that big break of it, I'll of course I'll share. But it's funny because I'm reminiscing on that day of the Bumble update, right? And so yesterday, I won't call it a date. I mean, I tend to have a lot of male friends. Like I do well with a lot of guy friends. I have a lot of guy friends. I don't know if I've shared that. Maybe I have. So I was able to reconnect with one of them yesterday. It was just so good, to have my friend back. And yeah, it just felt really good. And so, he's gonna help me with one of these projects. He's in the film industry and just yeah. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited to tap into the creative side of life. And I mean, I've known him for a long time. I've known him since I was 14, 15. And I'm 2 months shy from being 40. So he's always been a confidant for sure. And he's always been there for me. And we just always have fun together. Like we can talk for hours. We can definitely talk for hours. And we probably could have kept talking. Like yesterday I stayed out till like midnight and I was like, I need to go home. He's a night owl for sure. And I'm like, I need to go home. And he's like, oh, I'm like, I have my routine, right? That I want to keep up. Setting those boundaries for myself. But it was just so nice. And we're going to keep hanging out because he's going to help me with this project. And so yeah, just grateful. So just reflecting on the Bumble and just kind of where I'm at with all of that. And but I'm not going to talk too much on that because that's also for another project. But I wanted to just kind of reflect on the day. Oh my gosh, is my right here? Yeah, he's here. Just reflect on the day. No, he's here. I need to get going. To be continued. Bye. Hi. Okay, this is part 2 of that first part. And I don't remember where I left off, but I got back. It's late. It's late. But I wanted to record. It's 10:32. Same day. Ugh. It's funny, again, this repeated cycle of the videos that I'm posting and and they're bunched up because I increased it by 2 a day, right? Because I'm trying to like just schedule these, post them out, spit them out. So the ones that I'm posting are when I went to TJ for the second time. And I think because so that one I posted a couple days ago actually, or yesterday. But but even just, it's lumped. The ones I scheduled in a group. And this repeated pattern that keeps, it's like an update of that day a month ago. It's just bizarre. The same conversations that I had. I went to see this family, my friend, or close family friend. She's more like a sister, but the family is just really close with me. And and we went to have dinner and celebrate, you know, the youngest birthday. But this common theme, again, of entitlement, of effort, of what was it? Moral code, a person's moral code, perception came into play. And we were talking about this level of neglect. My good family friend, she owns her own daycare. So she interacts with a lot of parents, a lot of children, and she often comes to me for advice on the mental health aspect of it, right? Like, because she's working with preschoolers and she does tutoring for some of the older kids after school. And the situation looks different with COVID. Nonetheless, she still has to encounter these children from different homes and different styles of learning and developmentally, right? They're so young, and she notices, she has a degree in child development, so but her emphasis is in teaching, so she understands the basics. But when it comes to interventions, right, she often comes to me for like, hey, like they have this situation, this child, what do you recommend? And so so I you know, hear the case, and I'm like, what's kind of hard, right? It's always hard, it's limited. So I'm like, well, in a general sense, right, when you deal with these types of behaviors, try these interventions, blah 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 blah. But the same thing, and the sense of entitlement, right, with certain parents, or the sense of effort with some of the children too, just entitlement from the children coming up like, I don't need to do that, right? Or oh, I don't want to work on this. Which I was also experiencing in my tutoring gig earlier today. And this concept of neglect came up, where, you know, sometimes she works with children who are in the foster care system. So they're because of that experience, there's a certain level of trauma that occurs. And so with trauma, there's anxiety that is really underlining everything, right? This fear of it's just anxiety. So your senses are on alert, they're on high. Your perception is going to be impacted on that. So what we normally see as normal, maybe, or like, oh, it's not a big deal, for these children and or adults who've experienced trauma, it's heightened, right? That experience is perceived in a different way, where the level of threat or believed, assumed threat is heightened. So the response is going to be more heightened. And if you don't have that underlying understanding of trauma, right, you're going to think, whoa, this person is, you know, special. So it's just interesting because I mentioned to her that I did my birth chart reading, and my moon sign, I learned, right, is in direct relationship wherever your moon sign is located. I learned that it's a reflection of your relationship to your mother. And so when you have children that have experienced some type of trauma or neglect, right, this might be an area where it's highlighted. And this perception of neglect, right, is going to vary by person depending on their experiences, because it's all perception. And so I explained to her my experience with reading, having my own birth chart being done by Miss Christina. She's was it skiesofgrace.com? I'll put the link below. Great person to get your birth chart. I mean, she gives you an opportunity to ask questions. She gives you an opportunity to just inquire, and she will do the research on top of just providing that general overview of your birth chart. And she's amazing, and her heart's in it, and like brings so much clarity to what you want to know, but also like an overview. Like I told her, I have not, when I first did mine, no idea what astrology, none of that, like aside from your typical zodiac sign, right, that I used to pay attention to in high school. I had no idea the impact and just the connection that it made to just my overall functioning, and how connected it, how it just helped. It helped with the puzzle pieces. And so I explained to her how it shed light for me and my relationships, right? I mentioned the moon and the star sign or the star Vega, and the legend of Orpheus. And then I later realized, I'm like, it's similar to the story in the Bible of Lot and his wife, and how he was in Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And just how the angels were telling them, like, hey, you're being saved, but you can't look back. You can't look back. You got to keep moving forward. And what does he do? He looks back out of fear, and he loses his wife. So just the connection, right? Like it's a Greek mythology, but then I see it in the Bible, a different version of it. Like, it's fascinating. And again, this interconnectedness with all this information is blowing me away, right? Blowing me away. And just seeing the patterns, and I couldn't help but laugh. I couldn't help but laugh. And I reminded this friend of mine, I'm like, hey, this is being repeated. Don't you remember that conversation? The last time I saw you was when we were having this situation occurring, unfolding in front of us. And it's just it's playing out again, just in different ways. So I thought that was fascinating. And this is me even like pushing my timeline, like I'm trying to close that gap a little bit, not having it be like a month apart. But even by doing that, it just so happens to fall in that same alignment. So I think it's just interesting to see that play out. So I just wanted to share, right? I mean, this whole experience is just me documenting the like the things that I'm noticing, right? And the synchronicity of these cycles, and in this level of awareness. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like deja vu, right? So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see that, to have this documented, to have this documented for me to go back and reflect on. And then it speaks to MJ and her saying like how awesome it is to have a daily documenting, whether it's journaling. I love more visual, so this for me works. I don't know if I mentioned that last night I got home late from visiting a friend, and I went to bed. I didn't get a chance to meditate this morning, but I went to bed and I saw the waves, and it was like, I mean, I was on my side, so it felt like it was on the side, but it was like the same motion. That's all I remember. I think there was more, but that's all I remember. And then I remember talking to him and updating him about the waves that I see, and I'm just like, and he asked me, he's like, can't you paint it? I'm like, I don't know if I have the ability to really capture what I see. Like it's hard for me to try to put it. I don't know why it's hard. I don't know why it's hard for me to really put it. I mean, I'm gonna try. I'd want to give it a go and try it. And we were karaokeing, and he says I have a good voice. I don't know how to read a note, but he says I have a good voice. I mean, I was, singing with emotion. Be a little dramatic. But he said I had a good voice. He's like, you're gonna be my karaoke partner. So why was I saying that? Because because in the karaoke, his karaoke machine, like when we got on YouTube to get the karaoke songs, the background of his, I don't know if it was of his TV or if certain, now I didn't want to go back and look, but there was a certain channel, I guess, that had like a movement in the background of the words. And I remember staring at it, and I'm like, that's what it sometimes looks like when the movement is like that, where it's just like just doing this. I'm like, it's that flowiness. I'm gonna try to find it and include a link to kind of show what I see. But it's not all the time, but sometimes when the waves are just like moving in a certain way, that's what it looks like. And I pointed and I'm like, oh, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Because we had that conversation earlier about him encouraging me to paint it. I'm like, I can't. That's not as strong. I mean, I'm going to try it. But I tried sketching it. It didn't come out the same way that I do. I'm like, you know, close enough, right? But yeah, I got so excited when I saw it, and I was like, that's kind of what it looks like. It's kind of, in terms of the motion of it, where it's just kind of like just doing this sometimes. Not to say that all the motion's like that, because it's not. But sometimes that's when I'm looking more like this, that's what it looks like. So we'll see. But yeah, I didn't meditate, but I saw that when I went to bed. But yeah, just wanted to report on that and how the rest of the day went. And just the synchronicity and the repetitiveness and this redo feeling of like, whoa, we've had this conversation before. And then I was encouraging her. I'm like, wouldn't it be great for you to be able to do some type of birth chart for the kids that you service, right? The kids that you see. Because sometimes she doesn't know what to expect or what to do. And I'm like, how great would this be if you did something like this for the kids that you're servicing, you're helping, and already have a game plan. Like, this is going to be a constant challenge, right? And already coming with that expectation versus trying to figure out, right? And not know, now you know. And when you know, you can do something about it. And prepare versus, it's just like a shortcut or guidance. That's all it is. It's guidance. How much more effective would treatment be, right? Not just in education, you know, in terms of the socialization and relationships, but in mental health treatment, the kind of work that I used to do. Like, this is groundbreaking stuff. To be able, I mean, I know it's already included in some healers, some I mean, it's not accepted or fully recognized, right, in BBS, you know, Board of Behavioral Sciences, right? I mean, how great would it be if we did some type of trial run, right, or research to see the effectiveness of that, and be able to document clearly and see the efficiency of it, the effectiveness of it in terms of ongoing treatment. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, you know, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is, you know, great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, you know, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, you know, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and you know, we'll see what else